We begin tonight with Donald Trump's kids speaking out amid this ongoing criminal probe after their company, where they work, the Trump Organization, and its longtime CFO have been indicted. It was 15 counts. The charges, as we've been running through in our coverage starting yesterday afternoon, include tax fraud, larceny, conspiracy, obstruction, and growing pressure and heat on Alan Weisselberg, the money man, to talk, to flip. Now, there are many ways to count this up, and there are debates over how typical this kind of set of charges is, but as a practical legal matter, he could face over a decade, potentially a decade in prison if convicted. Those are numbers that would get anyone's attention, whether you think it's an unusual theory of the case to go after these benefits or not. Trump's children are speaking out for the very first time about the indictment. Donald Trump Jr., who is executive vice president, posted a 13-minute video on Facebook discussing how the intent, he says, is to try to defend the company where he works and his family business. And he has every right to speak out, although some of what he said may have made matters worse.
My father, after almost 50 years of employment, paid for his grandkids' private school in New York City. My dad did that because he's a good guy, takes care of his employees.
My dad did that because he's a good guy. Well, that may not be helpful. He's linking his father, and he's providing a kind of a public testimony. We don't have any reason to believe he's faced the grand jury yet, Don Jr., and admitting that it was Trump, indeed, who personally paid for Weisselberg's kids. Now, for his school, I should say. Now, I just want to be clear with you. As a logical matter, there's no defense to tax evasion that you did it to help someone. By definition, if you evade taxes, there's extra money. And if you give that money to someone else, or even give it to charity, for example, which no one's claiming Trump did, that doesn't get you out of the underlying charge if the facts show and a jury thinks that you duck taxes. This is about off-the-books tax crime allegations. And as referenced in the indictment, Don Jr. may have just decided to admit what's already on paper or on the books, which is Donald Trump's signature on those very checks that were used as criminal evidence in the indictment. Another executive at the company and another family member, Eric Trump, speaking out to defend the family.
Are you concerned that they may send an indictment your way, your brother's way, or your sister's way?
You know what? I'm not, Eric, because guess what? You know, we've always lived amazingly clean lives. And believe me, if they could have, they already would have, right? I mean, that's what they wanted. That was their end goal.
Amazingly clean lives. You can think of this as the outcast defense, so fresh and so clean. But again, adjectives, claims, opinions about how they live or what the goals were, that's not going to cut it in court. If you watch this show, The Beat, you know that we cover these cases fairly and accurately. I've said before, and we'll say throughout covering this trial, that there may be exculpatory evidence for Mr. Weisselberg. He may beat the case, but he won't beat it by saying that he's so fresh and so clean. As for what else is going on in the case, we know the New York Attorney General reinforced that it's a, quote, ongoing case. We don't know the entire impact on Trump Org of the pending indictment. They will get their day in court. Big loans do sometimes come with clauses that state a lender can demand immediate repayment if a borrower is indicted. We don't have any reporting tonight that suggests those kind of repercussions have hit this company yet. Let's get right into it with our experts, former RNC Chair Michael Steele and former SDNY Prosecutor Danya Perry. Good evening to both of you.
Hey, Ari.
Are you feeling clean, Michael? Are you feeling fresh and clean?
I feel fresh, baby. I feel fresh. It's the best defense I got to offer is I'm fresh.
Lord, fresh. Yeah. I mean, look, Michael, this is what I'll ask you. I'm having a little fun with it. Obviously, I've covered the serious part seriously, but in politics and in rhetoric, you can say whatever you want. You can run your bio campaign ads about whatever you want, and your supporters will probably give you the benefit of the doubt on certain things. Is it going to work the same way in court, though, to say this was all about Donald Trump's charity and his being nice to employees, and that's all it was about?
No, the law doesn't give a damn about your charitable inclinations. What it cares about, particularly in the tax space, as the good counsel who's with us knows, is whether or not you're in violation of the law. So I may, as you rightly laid out, I may have the best intent in the world. Here's $100,000 to educate your child. Guess what? The IRS says, that's awfully nice of you, but ma'am, that is income to you. And sir, you have to account for that on your books for the company. And so if you don't do either of those two things, guess what? You're in violation. So you can be amazingly clean in your mind, but your hands and your actions are still dirty. And that's the problem. And here's the second problem. The boys need to shut the hell up because all they're doing is offering prosecutors evidence that they're going to replay at the trial. So it's amazing to me that they still believe in this Trump magical kingdom, that if we say it, it is so. And if we say it enough, then enough people are going to believe it to make it so. But that's not how the IRS and the government looks at these things when they come at you. And so I just find it all rather amusing that, amazingly clean will be the order of the day until the IRS tells you, guess what? You're going to jail.
Yeah, that all makes sense and is laid out. And Danya, I want to play a little bit more of Eric Trump, who Michael pointed out might want to talk less, to quote Hamilton. Here he was.
They have an entire district attorney office and attorney general's office that's focused on $3.5 million to take down a political opponent. I mean, this is what they do. This is New York State for you. This is worse than a banana republic. It's truly horrible.
Danya, let's take that seriously. Let's explore if someone does the thought experiment in a local red district or state against a prominent Democrat in a case that was initially described as potentially big and involving said Democrat, but ends up hitting the people around them and is numerically smaller. I've covered why the charges are real, and I don't think 1.7 mil in tax evasion is something most Americans just think is a rounding error. Having said that, this is a different point, a different allegation about a political DA office. Your view in response to that?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I just want to go back and agree with Michael. People should be talking less. Right now, they are potentially, much like Weisselberg, ministerial, agents of the company, and this is a criminal case, and those statements could be attributed to them. So they should be watching what they're saying. They also don't appear to be legal experts or tax experts, and their comments are inaccurate on many levels. I don't think they will have jury appeal, and they certainly don't have any legal value. The DA's office has been looking at this for years, as we know. They just brought the first case. We don't know if this is the last case. It is not a penny ante case. These are serious. I mean, every felony charge is a serious one. But this one charges a pervasive, years-long fraud scheme on behalf of an organization that appears to be, a modus operandi for the company. And right now, the low-hanging fruit, at least, have been charged. We've got Weisselberg. And clearly, there are going to be others. So I don't think it's time for the Trump sons to be taking any sort of victory lap that Trump has not been charged or anyone else. And nor should they be saying if they could have charged them, they would have charged them, as one of them just did, because this is the first round and it's not the last. And this happens all the time. A lot of talk about this. Well, this is all they charged. A, it's not a small offense. And B, it's just the first offense. And so I think they should be silently watching and waiting and lawyering up.
Fair points. And then, Michael, we didn't have an open surveillance camera on Donald Trump when the news broke, but we had kind of, by happenstance, an audio readout, a kind of a live blogging, to use a technology he's familiar with because he dabbled in it, as you know. He is an ex-blogger now, and that's okay. Right. That's okay. But it was kind of an audio live blog with an ABC News reporter who happened to be on the phone with him conducting a different interview. And so we have kind of an interesting readout of that. Take a listen.
I just spoke to former President Trump, who's reacting to this in real time. He called the charges a disgrace, said it's a continuation of the witch hunt that's been going on for some time, repeatedly said it's a shame. He actually paused for a moment while we were on the phone, Terry, looked up at cable news coverage and said to me, John, I can't believe it. It's a disgrace, a disgrace. He's a tremendous person. And then he went on to say about Weisselberg, this is former President Trump, Terry, he says they are pressuring him, setting him up. They want him to lie against Trump. I then asked the former president, does he think that's going to happen? And Terry, his response was no.
A fact check and then a question. The prosecutors are not demanding he lie. Indeed, prosecutors could be disbarred or worse for that. What they're asking Weisselberg to do is go under oath and tell the truth. And if that cooperation or truth, by the way, does not result in other charges, that's okay. They have the evidence. They just want to get his cooperation, which he's resisting, which is why there have been references to gangs and mobs and other places, because most Americans, when called upon in this situation, even if they get a lawyer and double check, they're willing to provide accurate testimony about, I was at work or wherever. So fact check there. Then your response to just the overall reaction there, what we're going to get from this person who may or may not run for office again.
So the first part of what Trump said is the typical Trump drivel about witch hunts and outraged indignation, et cetera, et cetera. So we dismiss that. At least I dismiss that. What I pay attention to was the last thing he said. When asked, will Weisselberg basically flip on him? And his response was no. And I think everybody needs to take that with a pound of understanding, because Weisselberg knows how his bread has been buttered for 50 years. This man has put his kids through school, paid him exceedingly well. He has done things for Trump, and Trump has done things for him. There's a different symbiosis with this relationship than the one we saw with Michael Cohen and some others. This goes to the money. This is the guy who was in the room when the money decisions are being made.